far beyond the familiar planets and gentle warmth of an ordinary star, there exists something that should not feel real. A neutron star is not simply another object floating in space, but the collapsed corpse of a once massive star that died in the most violent explosion nature can create. What remained after that explosion did not disappear. Instead, its entire mass was crushed into a sphere barely 20 kilometers wide, creating an object so dense that a single teaspoon of its material would weigh more than Mount Everest. The journey begins from a safe distance, where the neutron star appears small, dim, and deceptively harmless. It does not glow with the comforting yellow light of a normal star, but with a cold, bluish intensity that hints at something unnatural. At this distance, everything still behaves normally. The spacecraft responds to controls. Time flows as expected. The laws of physics feel familiar. But that sense of normality is only temporary. Because as the spacecraft moves closer, reality itself begins to change. Gravity that grabs reality itself. The first sign of danger is not heat or radiation, but gravity. The neutron star's gravity is not merely strong, it is overwhelming in a way that defies intuition. Even while still thousands of kilometers away, the gravitational pull becomes stronger than anything experienced near any planet. The engines must work constantly just to prevent uncontrolled acceleration toward the surface. Every kilometer closer increases the force dramatically because neutron star gravity rises faster and more aggressively than almost anything else in the universe. Inside the spacecraft, subtle changes begin to appear. The weight of every object increases. Movements require more effort. Even lifting a hand begins to feel heavier, as though an invisible force is slowly tightening its grip on everything. Outside the spacecraft, light itself begins to bend. The neutron star's gravity is so powerful that it curves space, distorting the appearance of the universe behind it. Stars that should be hidden become visible, their light bent around the neutron star like reflections in a cosmic lens. The spacecraft is no longer simply approaching an object. It is entering a region where gravity controls the structure of reality itself. The speed of death. As the descent continues, something even more disturbing begins to happen. The difference in gravity between the top and bottom of the spacecraft becomes enormous. This difference is called tidal force, and near a neutron star, it becomes unimaginably extreme. The bottom of the spacecraft is pulled harder than the top. The structure begins to stretch, not because of mechanical failure, but because space itself is pulling unevenly on every atom. The effect grows rapidly stronger with every meter of descent. If the spacecraft were unprotected, it would already be destroyed. The structure would stretch, tear, and collapse into fragments. Every molecule would be pulled apart, not by heat, but by gravity itself. Even time begins to behave differently. To a distant observer, the spacecraft would appear to slow down. Every movement would stretch into slow motion because gravity near the neutron star literally slows the passage of time. But inside the spacecraft, everything still feels normal, which makes the situation even more dangerous. The surface that should not exist. Eventually, the spacecraft reaches the surface. What it finds there is not a surface in any familiar sense. It is not liquid. It is not gas. It is not solid in the way any material on Earth is solid. It is something far stranger. The surface of a neutron star is made almost entirely of neutrons packed together so tightly that atoms no longer exist. The electrons and protons have been crushed together, forming a continuous mass of nuclear matter. There are no individual atoms. There is no empty space between particles. It is more like a single continuous object than a collection of separate pieces. Standing on this surface, would be impossible. The gravity is approximately 200 billion times stronger than on Earth. The weight of a human body would increase so dramatically that the body would be crushed instantly, flattened into a layer thinner than a single atom. The structure of matter itself would fail under the pressure. Even light struggles to escape. Photons leaving the surface lose energy as they climb out of the gravitational well, making the neutron star appear dimmer and redder than it truly is. This is not simply a hostile environment. It is an environment where the normal structure of matter cannot survive. A magnetic field that tears atoms apart. Gravity is not the only threat. Neutron stars also possess the most powerful magnetic fields known to exist. These magnetic fields are trillions of times stronger than Earth's magnetic field. At close range, they do not simply affect compasses or electronics. They affect atoms themselves. The magnetic force becomes strong enough to distort the shape of atoms, stretching them into thin, elongated forms. Chemistry itself begins to break down. The fundamental structure of matter becomes unstable. Any living organism approaching the surface would not simply be crushed. It would be torn apart at the atomic level by forces that reshape matter itself. Even the spacecraft structure would begin to fail, as its atoms are slowly pulled and distorted by the magnetic field. This is a place where matter cannot remain normal. The final moment. The final descent happens quickly. As the spacecraft makes contact with the surface, gravity instantly overwhelms every structural bond holding it together. The bottom layer collapses first, compressed into nuclear density material. The destruction moves upward at incredible speed, faster than any mechanical failure could propagate. The spacecraft ceases to exist as an object. It becomes part of the neutron star. Its atoms merge with the surface, joining matter that has remained unchanged for millions or billions of years. From a distance, nothing dramatic is visible. There is no explosion, no flash of light. The neutron star remains silent, unchanged, indifferent. Because in a universe filled with extreme phenomena, neutron stars represent one of the closest things to a true physical limit. They are objects where gravity, matter, time, and energy are pushed to their absolute extremes. They are not simply stars. They are the remains of violence so powerful that reality itself had to bend to contain it.